Just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, Chris Blodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday. Today's topic is going to be, what was your worst hotel experience? This is episode 95. Once again, guys, welcome. Appreciate you being here. Like I'm always saying in these episodes, Real Talk Tuesday episodes, basically it's whatever, like random topics I might feel inspired to talk about. And I was just doing doing the daily action steps, working on the side biz and whatnot. One of those is when I do I try to at least go live on Facebook, at least 15 to 20 minutes a day. Sometimes ends up being like half an hour. Get a little bit carried away, but on that live, I kind of got off on a tangent a little bit, and was talking mainly because I was talking about some of the reasons why people try to, build something on the side, like do a side hustle. Is there's a couple of reasons. Either they're trying to replace their job, or they're trying to, make extra money to pay off stuff, or they're trying to make more money on the side so they can, travel more. Still work their job. Maybe they love their job or whatever, but they want to be able to travel more because maybe they haven't been able to because of money, like they can't afford it. Which has kind of been the case with my family. We make decent money, but we have a crap ton of bills, a lot of debts we're paying off, trying to slowly, chip away and stuff so we can get out of being renters and instead be able to actually get into our own home, But part of that is when you travel, what do you do, right? You stay in a hotel, unless you stay with family. But for the most part, usually when you travel, you go and stay at a hotel, and unless you're looking for a really, really budget friendly, really cheap, cost effective or cost friendly option, usually you're trying to, I know for me, when I'm picking a hotel, I'm usually picking one that has certain amenities that I want. Like for me, a working hot tub is extremely important because a lot of aspects of our life, especially the jobs and the finances, a lot of that is very stressful. Something funny right now is the fact that I keep hitting these little bursts of rain. It comes down really heavily. I turn the wipers on full blast, and then the rain stops. So the wipers, they clear away the rain pretty quick, and then they do the screech. So I try to turn them off because, of course, the windshield's dry at that point. So I stop, but then the rain starts again. Turn it back on full blast, and it screech because it stops. So I turn it back off again. And literally just, as you guys can hear, I don't know, but it's not raining again. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird weather we got going on down here. Because I'm on my way up from Huntsville, kind of a weird day. I was told, oh, you're bringing a set of trailers over from Nashville to Lebanon. In Lebanon, you're taking a loaded set down to Huntsville. Huntsville, you bring a set back to Lebanon, and then you'll take a single loaded trailer to Paducah, and then probably a single back to Nashville. I got down here to Huntsville, and there was something, the load assignment wasn't even in the system. So I was calling only hub I could get locally that actually had somebody still working, because Sunday mornings a lot of them go home early. Got me to Murfreesboro, and he didn't show anything in the system as far as the other plans that Lebanon had told me initially, as far as getting back to them, going to Paducah, whatnot. He was, yeah, there's no plans in there at all, so you want me to send you back to Nashville? I'm like, yeah, that works for me. I'm fine with that. You know, that means I'll technically get off earlier than I planned, so I can actually get home and start my official 2 days off. But let's see. Here we go. We got the rain coming again. So let's see how long it rains for now. But part of the inspiration for this, about talking about like what was your worst hotel stay, you know, is like, you know, like I said, when I book a hotel room, there's certain amenities I like. Like I like to have a pool and hot tub, but especially the hot tub. Usually it's pretty common. Hasn't been too many occasions where the pool is down, but for like the course of like 3 years, anytime we would go out to Kansas to visit family out there, I would book a hotel room. So I'd book a hotel room, and the pool would be up, but the hot tub would be down. And, you know, of course, one of the other amenities I like is hot breakfast. I think we went to one hotel, you know, because it was like, okay, cool, the cost is not too bad. It's got a pool and a hot tub, it's got free hot breakfast. We get there, oh, our hot tub's out of service. Oh, cool, all right. And what about your breakfast? You guys serve breakfast? Oh, only on certain days a week. You know, because we don't really have a high occupancy, so like only on certain days. And of course, those weren't the days that we were up there. And I'm like, literally, he's telling me this at the counter, and I'm going, sir, the only reason why I booked to stay here is because of those, like, you know, like, I don't care as much about the room. Yeah, I want to be comfortable, but I want a hot breakfast, and I'd love to have a pool and hot tub, you know, because it's kind of like, you know, have a nice breakfast and have be able to unwind and relax a little bit in the pool and the hot tub, you know, but otherwise, oh, great, we have the room, all right, you know. But on our way up to, when me and my youngest were on our way up to Kansas, or not to Kansas, to Oklahoma, to go see my parents and bring back the car that my grandfather owned. It was when we were en route that direction that I was, you know, because I had Google Maps going, I had GPS going to my parents, and it's like an 800-mile drive, so I wanted to at least go halfway. Because I thought, well, I mean, I've done the whole trip once, but then you're like super tired by the time you get there, and then you're dragging ass the next day, you know, because you just went 800 miles the previous night. So I thought, well, I don't want to be feeling it tomorrow too much, so I'm gonna just go at least half, like 7 hours, like 400-ish miles, you know, 400, 500 miles, and then stop, get a hotel, and then continue it the next day and get there within 4 or 5 hours. And so I was on Google Maps, and I brought up, like, I think it was like Comfort Inn and Suites. And I was like, all right, how do I call the hotel and actually try to book a room, or try to put in a reservation, so that we actually have a room scheduled when we get there. And it was like an 800 number, and get a guy on the phone, which of course I don't know where he was from because I couldn't understand him very well. Had a very, very thick accent, and so I was like, yeah, I just need one room with like 2 doubles or 2 queens because me and my kid, you know. Okay, sir, okay. On the phone with him, not even 5 or 10 minutes, you know, talking about whatever. And going to book the room because he's like, well, let's see what options we have for you, sir. Let's see what options. Like, okay. Okay, we do have a room with queen beds, blah, blah, blah. We have this, we have that, whatever. And yes, you get hot breakfast, you get this. Sweet. All right. Awesome, let's book it. Well, sir, unfortunately, while we were talking, that room got booked. Okay. Do you not have another room like with 2 queens or whatever? Well, actually, sir, that hotel's all full. But we do have a hotel across the street, same hotel, just across the street. Like, so you have quality or comfort in the suites, like 2 of them right in the same town, like next door to each other. That's kind of weird. All right, $120 or $115, and like hot breakfast, blah blah blah. Okay, let's do it. You know. And then I get a text with the confirmation about the reservation I just paid. Freaking Super 8. I'm like, and I'm looking at the cost. I'm like, Super 8. I've never paid over $100 for Super 8. Like usually, like maybe like 75. You know, because you don't really expect a lot when you go there because it's Super 8. You know, you get basically, decent, hopefully a decent room. You know, and you get like bagels, donuts, whatever in the morning because usually Super 8s are pretty basic, you know. But you get what you pay for, so $50 to $75. You get a room, you get a bed, you know, get a shower, you know, and I've done it for when I'm taking 34-hour breaks out there when I was over the road trucking. I would go up to Kansas and try to visit the in-laws up there, and I would park the truck somewhere and I'd take an Uber to Super 8 and basically just get a room for a day and a half. And being that I'm so used to always being active, whenever I would take that time off, I would spend most of the time laying in bed watching TV, and I would order takeout to be delivered. Because, hey, you know, I'm just trying to relax and whatever, and get up to take a shower, get up to eat, whatever, get back in bed, you know. That's the kind of vacation I love, you know, lay around, not do anything. But on the way up to, but of course I got that room booked and I'd already paid, so I was like, well, crap. All right, well, I guess I'll deal with it. Thank you so much for your business, sir. Thank you. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, I'm not very happy with you. You booked me a fucking Super 8, you know, instead of the comfort in the suites like I was trying to book. Because if I knew it was Super 8, I would have said, yeah, I'm gonna call somewhere else. I would have booked it. I would have tried to find something else. But he didn't tell me that. He said, same place, across the street. Okay. So we get there, we pull into the Super 8, we park under the awning, you know, like you normally do. It's right outside the main front desk, whatever. You go in, you check in, get your keys, whatever, pay for your room. I go in there, and of course, he's like, oh, there's a $50 deposit. I'm like, what for? I was like, I'm already paying like $50 more for the night than I should be, because it's a Super 8. Like, I shouldn't cost the same over here as it does at Comfort Inn, you know, because they actually offer hot breakfast, you don't. They have a pool and a hot tub, you don't. But, so I go ahead and pay, and I'm like, where's your, what do you guys have for breakfast? And like, literally, this is a small office. He points a little corner right back behind me in the same office area. He goes, oh, the breakfast is over there, so that's breakfast starts at 6 a.m. I'm like, okay, what is it, like donuts, bagels, or whatever? He goes, no, it's cookies. I'm like, cookies? I'm like, yes, sir. Like, so, like, nothing, no cereal or anything? Nope, cookies, juice, milk. Huh, okay. Wow, I'm feeling like we got a really good deal for this $115 for the night here. So, I'm like, all right, whatever. We're all, you know, just a place to sleep for the night before continuing on to my parents. So it's like, all right, cool, pay the deposit or whatever. And then we go find our room. And we go to this. The only good thing about this room, because we dropped our stuff off in the room. And didn't really look around the room first. We just dropped our stuff, put our bags on our beds, whatever. Brought our blankets in, and I was like, hey, because there's the one good thing about this hotel was there was two restaurants, like literally right next door, like up a little. There's a small hill, like maybe within 50 feet of the hotel parking lot, and there's a little cement stairs that went up right between these two restaurants. There was like Waffle House, and there's KFC. And we got there about 10:30, and they're both open. Like, KFC was open till 11, and Waffle House is open obviously 24/7. So we went to Waffle House and got, you know, some breakfast for dinner, and then, you know, hung out for a little bit. Then went back to the room, and we walked in the room, and we're looking around, and like there was like so much. Like, I've got a dozen or so pictures on my phone that I sent to a friend. You know, shout out to Sabrina. Because I was texting her when I was there. I was like, you should see this. literally the chair that normally would go with the like the desk in there that is right next where the phone's at. You know, they got the little lamp on the desk. The chair next to that desk literally was like a blue chair. The cushion that you sit on, it was like a blue cushion or whatever. Big old brown circular stain on the chair or whatever, like dark brown, whatever. So I'm not gonna say what I thought, what I figured that is, but I'm sure just by describing that, I'm thinking somebody sat in the chair and something happened, you know. So just leaving it like that. I don't want to keeping it PG for you guys. You guys could probably imagine you see that on a chair, you think, oh wow, what happened? You know, there was a hole or two in some of one or two of the walls. There was trash in one of the drawers in the dresser that had the TV on it. It was like a stain in the bathtub, and we're just looking around this room, and of course I look at my daughter, and I'm like, I'm not sleeping under those covers. She's like, I'm not either. So I had my big old king size comforter on top of the covers on my bed. She had her blanket pretty much and pillow on top of the top of the blanket on hers. And so I looked at the time because of just how bad this hotel room was. I didn't want to be there, but I was like, but I know we got about 4 hours tomorrow to drive till we get to Grandma and Grandpa's. So I looked at the time. I was like, are you okay with me setting an alarm for like 5.5, 6 hours just so we get just enough sleep so that we can function and get the hell out of here in the morning? And she was like, yeah, that's totally fine. I don't want to be here either. I was like, I'd keep driving right now, but I know that the problem is like it was so late, and I didn't want to. We would be getting to my parents' house like 3 in the morning, like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I know they go to bed. You know, well, I assumed they would, because usually in the past, before my mom officially retired, they were in bed by like 9 or 10. But then we were up there visiting them or whatever, and it was like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, so because they're watching shows they had recorded on their DVR, and they're just going from one episode to the next, and you know that one would end, they go on to the next. So we're, you know, my kids in the room that she's staying in on her phone or tablet or whatever, and me and my parents basically just out in the other room, just binge watching episodes on the show. And I'm like, this is cool. They live out in the country, so they like literally it's not like there's places nearby to walk to. We have to drive into town to do it or to do anything. So, but this is one of those, you know, I took all those photos and sent them off as like, you're not gonna believe this, and of course she's like, what the hell is that? Like, I don't know. But while we're at the hotel room, both me and my kid, I looked at the bathroom and I said, I really wanted to take a shower, like a hot shower, to kind of de-stress a little bit. She was, I really wanted to take a hot shower too, but I don't want to in this hotel room. I was like, yeah, because you know it gave us that feeling like, is there a camera in here? Like we being watched or something, you know? And so we kind of just. We both just went to bed at 6 a.m. You know, 5.5 hours later, we got up, we hit the McDonald's. It was right next door to grab some breakfast sandwiches, and we took off. But when I was at that McDonald's, I was asking there was a sheriff that was standing next to me waiting for his food, and I kind of told him, like, I was like, man, like what, like that's probably got to be the worst hotel experience I've ever had in my life. He's like, is it really? What's the deal? And I was like, oh, we had like this was wrong in the room, and like big old stain on the chair, and stuff on the walls, and trash in one of the drawers. I was like, if they have a housekeeper, I don't think she's doing her job, or I don't know, you know, they're not doing their job, because the room definitely wasn't clean and presentable. It was really, really bad, you know. And made us kind of uncomfortable to be in there. And I said, we're supposed to be at that Comfort Inn right down the street. He goes, yeah, that wouldn't have been any better because the hotels right here are horrible. I was like, oh, really? Yeah. They kind of started doing the extended stay thing where they let people book the room for weeks at a time. And so then and then they don't actually clean it up whenever the person leaves. I was like, oh, that makes sense now. He goes, you should have gone 2 exits down. Those hotels are actually really nice. I'm like, well, now you tell me. I was like, I don't know. I said, I was going on Google Maps looking up hotels about this distance away from my parents. And these are the 2 that popped up first. And, you know, so I was like, if I knew, I would have gone 2 exits down and gone to one that we would have had a pool and hot tub. We would have had free breakfast in the morning. Like, literally, like, we probably wouldn't have gotten up quite as early. We would have gotten up, had breakfast, chilled out a little bit, and then hit the road to go to my parents. But it worked out because we got to my parents like noon. You know, on that first day, I think it was like a Saturday when we got there. We were having Saturday, Sunday, and then we were taking off Monday to come back. And I think I took off Tuesday, and then came back to work Wednesday. Ooh, holy crap. That rain I told you guys about when I started at the beginning, I don't know if I'm approaching another storm or if I'm approaching part of the storm I just went through, because literally like miles in front of me, the whole sky just lit up with like lightning from one side of my windshield all the way to the other side of the windshield. You know, as far as I can see from the left to the right, or the right to the left, I'm going, oh wow. Like everything was lit up like daylight for a minute, and then of course back to darkness again. Like, oh wow, kid. So, but with that hotel experience, I had totally figured, I totally had every intent, especially paying $115 for that room, which I was like, we got robbed. We totally got robbed of that room. And I should have called and complained when I came back, you know, when we got back home, and I totally intended to, but then I just never did. I just let it go. I was like, screw it, you know. Yeah, I would have loved to get that money refunded and complain or whatever, but it wouldn't have really changed anything. That hotel would still be crap. And it wasn't even, I didn't even deal with Super 8 directly when it came to reserving the room. It was like an 800 number, like a reservation line. And for whatever reason, he put us over there. And like, that's not where I asked to book, but I guess I should have just waited and pulled off somewhere and tried to walk in first, like, you know, directly without reserving ahead of time. Be like, do you guys have a room? Maybe that would have worked out better, but you know, it's all good. I just ended up, you know what they say, sometimes just turn the other cheek. So I just basically let it go, and we got up the next day, grabbed breakfast, and left. And then I got home and basically didn't even worry about it, you know. And the sad part, one of the sad parts was it took a week for us to get our $50 deposit back. I was like, well, they can't charge us for the way the room looked, because it was like that when we stayed there. So I would have complained if that was the case. We never got the deposit back. Like, oh yeah, they said the room was really messy and there were stains on the chair. But, yeah, I have photos of those proving that was there when we got there. That's partially why I did that too, because I thought we're staying in this room. I could see them trying to say we did this. So I took photos. And you know how it is, photos on your phone, you can bring up the specs on the pictures or whatever, and it'll show like what date, what time you took the photos. So that's you know, I know you can take them and put timestamps on them too, but any picture you take on your phone, it'll actually show you when it was taken. So it's like when dealing with my boss, you know, like something important, or if there's something wrong with the truck, or like this last Tuesday, my wife had a doctor appointment, like an outpatient procedure she had to go for, and I had to go down there with her, be her ride down there, hang out at the clinic, and then be her ride back home. And so I had messaged the boss previous week and kind of let him know, hey, by the way, Tuesday I can't start too early. I gotta probably start later in the day because my wife has a 12:30 appointment and we'll probably be out of there like 4, so I gotta probably work later that day. He goes, all right, that's no problem. Then what happened on Tuesday when we're at that appointment? He texts me like, Farina, 2 o'clock. I'm like, sir, I'm at the surgical center with my wife. Oh crap, that's right. I text message with him a lot when it comes to stuff like that, because that way I have a record that I communicated with him. Because I don't want to be like, well, you didn't tell me. Yeah, I did. No, you didn't. Yeah, I did. I don't have any record of it. Like, sir, I talked to you on the phone. Really? I don't remember talking to you about that. But if you text it, you have a time, you have a date. I was telling that to when talking to the team up there in Farina, Illinois, that comes down from Minnesota, about kind of how I do that, where I I'll text between the boss and I to make sure that there's a record and stuff so they can't say that I didn't talk to him. And she brought up this app that she downloaded. She said, so I was thinking about that. I downloaded this app and it's a call recorder. Do you think that would be a good idea to use that? I said, yeah. I was like, if you're having a conversation with your boss and he's telling you a certain thing and like you have it on recording and then later on he tries to say something like, you didn't talk to me about that, and you play the recording for him, like, yeah, I did. Like, look, I recorded the phone call. You know what there's an acronym that says CYA. It means cover your ass. It means, like, have records of that conversation, have records that you communicated that with whoever it is, whether it's your boss, your landlord, or whatever, so that way they can't, if anything, like, especially in cases like landlords or, or like if I were to record that conversation with the person that reserved the hotel room for us, and then I would have tried to fight the charge and say that the hotel wasn't what we actually had booked. He told me I was booking this, and it, showed them the text saying Super 8, but then play the call for them saying that he was telling me it was a Comfort Inn Suites, and be like, look, like, I was booked in a different hotel, the hotel was trashed or whatever, I paid like $50 more than what I should have paid for that hotel room, didn't even have breakfast, didn't have a pool, whatever. Then I would have had records of it. But so that's why this, randomly, that topic through doing my Facebook Live about my business, I got off that, like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and do my Real Talk Tuesday episode about that, because that is something that I'm sure a lot of people can relate. And maybe you can't. Maybe you've stayed in hotels, but you've never had a bad experience. Before that, the worst experience I had was just hey, we book a hotel room thinking we're getting a hot tub and pool and hot breakfast, and then they don't have hot breakfast and they don't have the hot tub's down, but the room is still comfortable and clean or whatever. Those experiences, I'm still a little bit upset when I'm staying there, because I'm like, I came here for those. Those are two of the important things for me, was hot breakfast and hot tub. But at least in those cases, the room itself, it was clean, it was comfortable, we weren't afraid to take a shower. Didn't feel like didn't feel like a little on edge, a little creeped out in there, in the room. Because I literally was like, I wonder if there's like hidden cameras in here, we're being watched. My daughter's like, I'm not even gonna like change out. I'm literally just gonna. She just took her shoes and socks off, and stayed in her regular clothes, and just got under her covers on the bed. I at least changed out, got into I sleep in like athletic shorts, just nice comfy shorts, whatever. I changed into those, and then got under my big ass king size comforter. Put the fan on next to me, whatever. But aside from that, I was like, I just basically unpacked enough to be able to, have my blanket, pillow, and whatever in my bed, and then afterwards, rolled everything back up, bagged it, got my bag packed again the next morning. Like 5 hours later, she was still. I could turn the light on. Actually, I didn't have the full light on, but I had like enough light to where I could actually like see enough. Because I was like, well, it's 6 a.m. I'll let her sleep for a minute, Grabbed my stuff, took it out to the truck, came back in, and she had woken up and had the light on and was getting her shoes on and stuff. Like, oh, cool, you're out. I was like, you ready to go? She goes, yeah, let's get out of here. I was like, when one of the kids that really likes to actually travel and actually stay in a hotel is like, let's go, I want to go. Like, yep, me too, let's go. Time to go. So, what was the worst hotel experience you guys have had? Like, and what made it really bad? Like, what was it that you went there expecting, and what did you actually end up getting? Feel free to drop me a line at the podcast email, bludgeonshowpodcast@gmail.com. Let me know exactly feel free to let me know what was bad about it. Like, how bad was it? Like was on a scale of 1 to 10, was it negative? And I'm saying like 10. Let's say 10 being the best, 1 being horrible. And the Super 8, I would probably say it was like a -4 because it wasn't even in the positives because of the fact that like no breakfast or a little quarter. Like, oh, we have cookies. Really? Cookies? You call that breakfast? That's not breakfast. Like most cheap hotel rooms like that, it's at least like bagels. That's usually when I stay at a Super 8. You got bagels. You got I have cookies. But the bagels, cereal, some milk and some juice. And that's pretty much it. A little corner with like the cereal, the bagels, whatever. Maybe they might have like some waffles, like a little corner where you just where they don't have to have much, but they'll have some stuff. But they didn't have anything in that Super 8. And then to check out, literally they had nobody to check out. Like you go to went to the window and I had to pick up a phone, and it rang somebody who I guess is the on-call front desk worker. I guess it rang the room. I'm like, yeah, front desk. And I'm like, so how do we check out? Like, cause nobody's here. She goes, oh, you just put your key in that little drop box right there. I'm like, oh, cool, all right, so we won't get charged. She goes, nope. I'm like, all right, thank you, ma'am. Click. So it's like, drop my key in the box, and then went over to McDonald's to get us some food to start out our day, and then took off. But it's like, like when I've had somewhat bad hotel experiences in the past, even when we had the kids with us, usually they didn't really care. They're like, hey, cool, we had a bed, we got breakfast, whatever. This is the first time that we had a bad experience. It was bad enough that my daughter still talks about it. Like, whenever we talk about the trip or whatever, either like I might mention, when we were on traveling to see grandma and grandpa, whatever, my daughter goes, yeah, that amazing, freaking fantastic hotel, right, Dad? I was like, oh yeah. And she's like, wow, I don't know how that hotel could have been any worse. My kid is complaining about it. That's when you know that it's as bad as it is and stuff. Hold on a second, guys. Hold on a second. Because this way station says pull in and less clothes. I'm like, well, I'm empty, so I ain't too worried and stuff. Because it's not like they can get me for being overweight. Like wow, they're open Sunday morning at 5 a.m. That's kind of weird. Came through here yesterday, like it was like 6 something. Yeah, like 6 in the morning, coming back to Nashville or whatever, and and it was closed. So I'm kind of surprised it's open. But pull us on the scale too. Hold on a second. Alright, sorry about that. Literally just had to pause the recording for a second because, I guess they're checking everybody this morning. They pulled me on the scale. I'm like, well, I'm empty. I got 2 empties behind me. So that is the longest I've sat on a scale with empty trailers. But usually I pull up on there and when I realize you're empty, it's like, continue. Like, all right. But no, I sat there for at least 3 minutes with it saying stop. And all the different weights were going back and forth because it's like trying to wait. And I'm like, obviously I have nothing in the trailers, so you guys aren't gonna find anything. So it's like, wow, all right, That's the way station I got stuck at because there was something wrong with this truck that I was trying to make my way back to Nashville so that my boss could, basically get it fixed. And I never made it to Nashville because I got pulled into the way station, and they're like, you realize you have this problem? I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm trying to make it back to Nashville to get it fixed. Well, I gotta shut you down, so you gotta wait until somebody comes out here. I'm like, crap. So, and I wasn't surprised. I kind of figured as much when I got pulled into the way station, like, crap, I'm gonna be stuck here. But again, that goes with that goes with what I was saying about documentation. You know, I guess I can get over. There's 3 lanes, and you know, I got over thinking the 1 lane was ending, and of course it stayed 3 lanes for a minute. So I'm like, oh cool, I guess I can get back over the right lane. But I had the texts, the record of the texts to my boss saying, hey, such and such is wrong. Like, I got this going on with the truck. And he's like, yeah, you know, when you get back, you know, we'll take care of it. I'm like, all right. Well, I never made it back, and they had to send a repair guy to actually fix it at the weigh station just so I could leave. Even though it was funny because the cop that was doing the inspection, he actually, after I'd been there for probably a couple hours, he drove over to my truck. Basically, he was like, "Hey, so somebody coming?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're like an hour or so out." He goes, "All right, cool. Well, when they get you fixed, go ahead, roll out. You don't need me to sign. You don't need to show proof or anything. You just get fixed and get out of here." I'm like, "All right." So I thought, I wonder if I can call the repair guy and say, can you just meet me in Nashville and just take off? Because I mean, the truck is drivable. I can drive it, but there was that issue with it. And technically, when the cop inspected me, he put me out of service. And I was like, I knew there was a problem. I was trying to get back to get it taken care of, but you guys kind of shut me down beforehand. So, oh well. So back to the topic at hand. So, but yeah, feel free to drop me a line, send me an email with any experiences you guys have had. You know, as far as really like, what's the worst hotel experience you guys have had? You know, is it as bad as what I just talked about with like, and you know, like I said, I've got like a dozen photos on my phone. I'd have to scroll back because it's been a couple months at least. So I mean, I've got a lot more on my phone since then, so I'd have to scroll back to find them again. But like at least a dozen pictures, probably. I don't know the exact number. I think there's at least 12 pictures of all the different things that were wrong in that hotel room that made us go, whoa. Because it's like, this is supposed to be like a clean room. Like, I hate to see if it was dirty. At least, I mean, the beds were made and stuff like that, and there was like the little soap things on the sink or whatever, you know, that were like the ones that are wrapped up, you know, fresh little soap bars or whatever, and stuff like that. So I think I grabbed the soap and the little shampoo bottles and stuff, the little small tiny shampoo and conditioner bottles. I grabbed those. I'm like, we paid $115 for this room and it wasn't even clean. I was like, we're taking this. Like, but yeah, fun times. So that was so there you have it, guys. There's probably my worst experience ever with the hotel room on a trip or whatever. So it's like, yeah, that was fun. Like I said, it's like, you know it's bad when the kid remembers it. When the kid talks about it. It was just me and her, so any chance she gets, like, my daughter's like, yeah, mom, yeah, you know, talking to my wife, like, yeah, mom, like you have no idea, that room was horrible, mom. Like, I've never seen it. We paid $100, and she mentions the price too, because it's not just, that hotel room was really bad. It's 100. Like, we got robbed at that hotel room. That $115 for that hotel room was crap. And I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, I was the one that paid it. I know. So, funny stuff. So anyway, guys, on that note, I'll go ahead and close it out for you guys. You know, but as always, you know what I say: keep pushing forward, keep believing. You know. Well, before we go that route, a few little things I usually like to cover. My bro Rico mentioned his podcast and stuff, and his reintroduction is returning back to the podcast episode. Just went live on Saturday. Really good episode. I mean, obviously it's pretty basic because he's literally just, hey guy, I'm, you know, like, glad to be back, all that stuff. But then he's got some big plans coming up for his future episodes. But new episodes for that podcast post Saturdays, I believe. And so definitely be on the lookout for that. You guys would be willing to check that out if you haven't done so already. Go to blodgetshow.com/Rico, RICCO, or go to blodgetshow.com. Click the little drop-down menu. Click on Rico, and it'll redirect when he told me that he was hey, I'm thinking about resuming my podcast. I'm like, cool. Because I was kind of sad when he, I was kind of bummed, when he decided to quit. His podcast was still available, obviously, but when he's like, yeah, I'm not feeling it, I'm just gonna stop. I'm like, oh man. He didn't think his podcast was that great, but I actually thought his episodes were amazing because because he has a lot better equipment than I do, and I'm doing mine because of the time restraints, with my job. I have my headset and I have my phone, and I mean, if you go back to episode 1 of the Blodgett Show and then you listen to the current episodes, you'll see a huge difference in quality of because I tried to clean them up and make them sound better in those first 10 to 15 episodes. And I did improve them a little bit, but they're still not great. So I apologize if you go back there and you're like, wow, this is crap. Yep, they are. But now with the Real Talk Tuesdays and Storytime Fridays, I feel I've come a long way. And obviously I know that as things progress and eventually when I, through my efforts with side hustle and stuff, eventually be able to free up time, retire myself eventually, I'll be able to make even more changes to the show to make it even better. So I look forward to that. But right now, compared between my show and his, he actually does his from the computer, has an actual podcast microphone, fancy software or whatever. So he actually he does his shows are really awesome for his episodes. So. And he does things his own musical content because he does his own music, makes his own gets his own beats, his own lyrics, and so it talks about the history and things like hip hop and whatnot. Really good, really awesome stuff. So play some samples or whatever. So again, blodgettshow.com/Rico or on the drop down menu on the blodgettshow.com website, click the drop down menu, click on Rico. Aside from that, again, like always, anybody who wants to know more about what I'm doing as far as this Legacy Builder program, that's basically teaching anybody, whether you've never had any following, never had any experience before, step-by-step training, step-by-step guidance, how to actually start earning online following a simple 1 to 2 hour workday, compared to most businesses where they have to be near their phone all the time and constantly getting in people's inboxes and messaging them, begging them to, hey, can you check out my business? Can you please buy a product? How can I convince you to buy? You're not having to do that with this. It's literally teaching you how to do it, how to build, how to grow. 1 to 2 hours a day, rejection-free business, not having to, it's automated for the most part. So they teach you all that stuff, and it's a pretty easy process. So you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And so if you want to check that out, go to blodgettshow.com/freedom. Put in your email address and respond back to my email with any questions you have. Otherwise, just follow where it leads you, because it takes you through 1 or 2 videos, 7 to 14 minutes long. And basically, anybody that wants to actually get started with any of the programs, they just click I'm ready, and it'll take you to the sales page. And then they have all the programs, all 4 programs from $100 to $900. And on certain programs, on the 300 to the 900, there is a payment plan option available. You can spread that amount over the course of 2 months. You pay your first installment, and that gets you started. And then you pay that installment every 2 weeks for the next 3 payments. So pretty easy way to get going. That way you're not having to pay full price to do it. But again, to check that out, it's blodgettshow.com/freedom. Aside from that, like I always say, guys, keep pushing forward, keep believing. Believe you can, believe you will. And you're already halfway there, and then you just have to go out there and do it. And one other thing I love to say all the time, guys, is we only fail if we quit, give up, and walk away. So as long as we continue to get back up and keep fighting, we haven't lost yet. It's when we finally give up, that's when we've lost. So it's like the light bulb. He didn't fail 1,000 times. He found 999 ways it didn't work, and the 1,000th was when hey, it works. So as long as you keep going, if you fail, you can fail 1,000,000 times, and then you know, as long as you're getting back up and getting back in the fight again and continue to try it, then you're gonna eventually get there. It's only about it's basically it's kind of like a numbers game. Like you just keep at it, keep trying, try something. One thing doesn't work, you try something else, and that doesn't work, you try something else. Make another plan, and just keep going. You know, that's why, like, you know, the other day I was having a little, not really a fight, but having a heated conversation with the wife, and I was trying to, because, you know, of course, like a lot of the fam doesn't explain or doesn't understand why I do what I'm doing. Like, why do you do the podcast? Why do you do why are you doing this business on the side that you're trying to grow, the legacy builder, whatever? And I'm like, because I don't want to just accept where I'm at. I don't want to just work my current job, you know, out here driving on the road, delivering loads. I don't want to do this till I'm 70 and then still be in the same financial situation. I want to make things better for us a lot sooner than that. And so I've been doing this podcast for a year, and I know eventually I'd like to be a full-time podcast host, not having to necessarily do it while working, but be home full-time and doing that, but also want to be working like building the online business, doing that in the podcast from home and not having to worry about how are we going to take care of this, how are we going to take care of that, because it's already taken care of by me, what I'm doing on the side to make things better. And so I'm always telling her, because she wants to have like a food truck and stuff like that. She's a chef, she wants to have her own business, you know. That's been the plan all along. It's like we talk about wanting to get a house eventually, but our credit hasn't been the greatest. Got a lot of stuff to pay off, so our credit can actually improve, so we can get pre-approved and actually get that house that, you know, actually finally get us into our family home. But my argument is, look, like, if we don't make any changes, like if we don't do anything to make it happen, it's not going to happen. So you don't know that. I'm like, yeah, I do. Because if we can't get there with what we currently make, it's going to be 10, 15, 20 years before we even have possibly have that option. I was like, but if we want things to change, we have to change them. And so we have to actually go out there and try something. We have to try this. We have to try that. You know what? There's that saying that the definition of insanity is going out there and doing the same exact thing over and over and over again, and expecting to have different results. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to keep going through the same grind every day, and if it's not working, if you're not achieving the things that you're actually working towards, then the current grind isn't going to work. It's not going to get you there, probably. If you've been doing it for like 10, 12, 15 years, whatever, and you're still in the same boat you were when you started, it's not working. I'm not saying you have to quit doing what you're doing, but I am saying that if there's other goals that you have that your current situation isn't accomplishing, maybe add something to it, change something. You know, maybe, you know, if it's not the side hustle like a business on the side, maybe it's, hey, go work a day, go get a job for like one of your spare days, and work that one day and put that money towards the goals. You know, not include that in the regular budget for the bills, but put that money towards the goals. Adding that to pay down the extra stuff, or putting that in savings to work on having a travel fund, or saving for retirement or whatever. But doing something different to have different results, so that way you can actually achieve the things you're wanting to achieve. Because it is possible we can't do it. Like we can achieve anything that we are after. We can actually accomplish the goals that we're looking to accomplish, but we have to change things up if our current path isn't getting us there. Because otherwise, there's a lot of, like, I've had friends that wouldn't change anything. They were doing the same thing. Some of them not working at all, and then just like they would get the small government check at the beginning of the month, like $1,000 or $1,500, and then they'd spend it all on weed or whatever, and then they would basically complain for the rest of the month because they spent it in like 3 days, and then complain that they're broke for the rest of the month. And I'd be like, well, what about trying to build a business online, or doing something. Well, no, I can't because I'll lose my government check. I'm like, yeah, but if you didn't need the government check, then wouldn't you rather not need that check if you're making enough doing something else? Well, no, I can't work. I have too much anxiety. I was like, you want to talk about anxiety? I was like, I'm not saying what I do out here is, worse than any other job at all. I'm saying that for me, my personal experience in this job, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, and then losing some days because they don't have loads. I'll admit, some depression, because then I'm going, oh crap, I got these bills I gotta pay, and now I'm losing $300 for a day, and it's like, that's gonna hurt. So then the next week I get paid, I'm like, oh crap, what bills can I not pay this week because I'm 2 days short on my paycheck? And I can keep doing this job, and focusing on the negative and being like, okay, like, I'm losing money, like, we're not being able to pay the bills, it sucks, whatever. Or I can do what I'm currently doing, and when I lose those days, I take advantage of that downtime, and I focus on what I can do for the side business. Like, I go ahead and get my 3 pieces of content created, like 3 short videos, like 1.5 minutes long, and then I go live for like 15 minutes, and then maybe if I feel motivated enough, I might do a couple more pieces of content, like a couple more short videos, planning ahead, like get the videos for like the next day, so I can continue, plan ahead to do that consistent daily action. Because, like I'm always saying, we shouldn't come around today and take some action towards our goals, and then come back in like a week and take some more action, and then 2 weeks take some more action. And then wonder after a certain point, like, why are we not where we want to be? Like, why is it nothing happening? Well, because you're not actually being consistent about it. You're taking occasional action. So that's why I love what I do with the side business, because it's like 1 to 2 hours a day, and then basically just do those couple things, all the training, training modules and stuff, the videos walking you through what to do first how to set everything up, and then basically the training stuff on how to go about working on growing your following and your subscribers, and basically starting to learn how to start earning online and stuff with just a 1 to 2 hour commitment. So it's pretty awesome. So anyway, talk to you guys zero off enough, but I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Again, check out Rico's podcast, blogdashow.com/Rico, RICCO. And, check out the 1 to 2 hour workday business, blogdashow.com/freedom if you want more information about that. But otherwise, keep pushing forward, keep believing, keep doing what you're doing. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do something or that you don't deserve it. You do deserve it, and you can do it. As always, guys, I really appreciate you guys, and feel free to like and follow, share, tell your friends. Oh, the one thing I didn't say though is if you actually enjoy this podcast and you feel inspired to support, go to blogdashow.com/support, and you can feel free to support the show for as little as $1 per month, or there's even a one-time donation option. It'll take you right to that site. You can pick which option you want to do. If you want to do it monthly, if you want to do a one-time donation, whatever, it comes like as low as like $1, as high as you want to put it, I guess. But as always, I really appreciate it, and thank you so much in advance, because anything and everything that's contributed to the show actually will help with things like the cost of keeping the show, keeping it going, and will also help make it possible for me to add future stuff, like add merchandise for the merch that I can start sending people for like the supporters. Maybe have set up another podcast, like a private podcast that I can give you guys exclusive access to. I haven't decided yet how I want to go, but I've got lots of plans on things I could possibly do to make the show better. Of course, it's all financial. Comes down to financial stuff, obviously. But Anyway, love you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you guys again on Friday for the next Storytime Friday. On that note, guys, you have a good one, and I will talk to you in a couple days. See you Friday, and have a good one.